Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate you taking out time for this webinar. Today's presenters are Josh Barkin, the co-founder of Janus.ai, Manuel Geek, the founder of TechFlow.ai, and myself, Arpit, the head of growth at Integromat. In this webinar, we're going to show you some really cool stuff. We are assuming that you're already familiar with ManyChat and Chatbots, and you have a fair understanding of how Integromat works. But even if you don't worry, you'll get to learn a bunch of cool stuff, and everything will be available for you to go over later. For those of you who are not familiar with Janis, Janis is a really cool tool that allows you to enhance your chatbots using AI. So we will start the demo with Josh giving you a quick walkthrough of the reservation system. He's going to show you how it actually works. And then Manuel will take you behind the scenes and he'll show you how the reservation system has been built using Integromat and Google Sheets. Needless to say, this webinar will be available as a video later, so you can refer to everything that we show you. We will also make all the templates available for you to replicate the use case quite easily. So without further ado, I would like to hand it over to Josh.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for the introduction. This is a really cool session that we've been looking forward to do with you for a while. So Janis helps bot makers integrate AI into their customer experiences. So ManyChat users have been connecting Dialogflow to ManyChat, and so Janis is kind of like Integromat is in that process. It helps you connect, and leading AI from companies like Google to your customer experiences, so to your ManyChat bot. And the reason that you would want to do that is because you'll need AI, or what's called as natural language processing, to understand users' messages when they send your bot messages. So you can understand the intent of the message, the meaning of the message, and you don't have to rely on users clicking buttons. You can actually get values out of messages and then save those values into a ManyChat bot, and then take those values and, using Integromat, send them off to another system. Google Sheets is obviously one of the most popular. So this was a really cool use case that I wanted to build. And Manuel, who we'll meet in a minute, is a fantastic bot developer who's quite experienced on both the Dialogflow side and working with Janis, and both the Google and the Google Sheets side. And he's a very experienced Integromat developer. So this should be a really good session. So I wanted to give you just sort of a quick overview how Dialogflow works in case you've never used Dialogflow before. Dialogflow isn't a visual interface with a flow builder. It just allows you to capture values out of messages, and you can use those values to understand. So we like the restaurant example because there's a lot of different values that are in a message, and we can look at an intent. You can see here, I need a reservation for 5 for tonight, book something for 3 people. These are things that users say. And you can train AI by inputting a whole bunch of different phrases, as we've done here. There's about 70 different ways that users might want to make a reservation for a restaurant. And so I'm going to do the demo first of how the AI will understand the user's message, and then that data will then flow into the ManyChat bot, and then you can do whatever you want with that data, which is where Integromat does some really cool stuff with Google Sheets. So let's just do the demo real quick. I need a reservation for 3 people for next Tuesday. Now that's a fairly complex example. We didn't include the time, so Dialogflow will prompt us for a time, and we're just collecting values, but you'll see that that's the only question that Dialogflow will ask. You got everything else it needed from the user from that one message. It knew that the user wanted to make a reservation. It knew how many people, so 3 people, and it knew when. And some of this stuff is where AI comes into hand. I just said next Tuesday, and it automatically knew that Tuesday was the next day on the calendar. And so you can see it just automatically creates a date. It gets the date from Dialogflow, and then it saves this as a custom user field in ManyChat. And it also, when we gave the time, it also saves that. So we have all of our values, and Dialogflow will help you capture those values and extract them from messages, and then save them as custom user fields in inside of ManyChat. And you can there's a whole guide if you're new to Dialogflow, and ManyChat. There's a whole guide that will show you how you can get those values out of messages, store them in custom user fields, and the real goal with Dialogflow is that you're going to boost your revenue because you're going to understand your users. You're going to reduce your support costs because you're going to answer questions, and then you're going to be able to delight your customers just by understanding their messages, right? So you'll send your default reply a lot less. Okay, so let's finish this demo here. I'm going to confirm. Now that's now this is the end user's experience, and at this point, the data that we got from the user is not only saved in ManyChat, but it's actually going to be saved to a Google Sheet through Integromat. So if we look at this Google Sheet template that Manuel built, we can see here that, let's go to Tuesday, there it is. So actually, wait, this is not the right day. Oh yeah, next Tuesday. So that's gonna be further out in the calendar. So it won't show up on this sheet, but if I do it for this, let's try for this Tuesday. I need a reservation. Tuesday for 7 p.m. For 4 people. So this Google Sheet covers a rolling 1 week at a time. And you can see here we have different days, and the data will automatically populate in these cells. And I'll get Manuel to walk through that part in a little bit more detail, but it's really cool how this works. You can see here we captured the reservation, and it got stored right in the Google Sheet in a slot. And so you can see that we have time slots in half-hour increments, and those are customizable. You have different types of requests. So users might say, I need a table inside, or is there room on the patio, or those are all values you can get from Dialogflow and use those values to create the reservation. You obviously have capacity. So you have a table for 4, a table for 5, table for 2. And so you'll want to know the party size. And again, that's a value that you can collect from the user's message, and then with Dialogflow, and then store it in ManyChat, and then use that. And then there's also what's really cool about this spreadsheet here is that it handles. It'll check to see if the slot is already filled. So if it's filled up, then it'll tell you that that it's filled up and give you an alternative time. So in this scenario here, you can see that I needed a reservation. I need a reservation for Friday for 8 p.m. for 4. So Friday's the date, 8 p.m. is the time, 4 is the number of guests. And then we get this information. I'm going to confirm that's what I want. But you'll see what will happen here. It's going to process, look, and there we go. It says, sorry, there are no tables available for the selected time because the data is in these cells. And it'll suggest the next time, which is 8:30. And what about the 8:30 on the same day? Yes, that works. All right, let me book you in. And then there you see it added it. So a reservation is added. You can see it added twice because it's done in half-an-hour increments. So we're adding 2 half-hour blocks, 8:30 to 9:30, and it'll fill in the blocks accordingly. So, and I think it's really cool. You've got multiple days, and if you want to clear out a reservation, you have the ability the user would have the ability to change the reservation. They would have the ability to cancel the reservation. But most importantly, what I really like about this is that it's a Google Sheet, and the people that are managing the reservations don't need to know anything about AI, don't need to know anything about ManyChat. Once this is set up, the data gets populated very simply into a format that is easily understood and easily manageable. If I wanted to get rid of a reservation, I could also just do this. If the customer calls and says, I can't make it, whoever's managing the reservations just needs to delete from the cells, and it opens up a slot again. So it's super easy to manage, and it's really ideal for small reservations. And the AI part, what's really great about the AI part is it's Google AI. So if you're an agency and you're out there pitching restaurants, you can tell the restaurant that this is the same AI that's used by Domino's Pizza. It's the same AI used by the largest brands in the world, and they get that AI in connection with their ManyChat bot, yet they have such an easy interface to manage the reservations with Integromat and Google Sheets. So yeah, so I hope, at this point, I think I wanted to hand it over to Manuel, because I think he can do an amazing job of explaining how it works, from the point that the data is captured by Dialogflow and then stored, when it's stored in ManyChat, what he does with that data once it reaches ManyChat. The data itself automatically is stored. So when a user sends a message and it knows that 7 p.m. Captures that value, or it knows that tonight is tonight on the calendar, it's automatically going to save those values, they're highlighted, into ManyChat. And then Manuel takes those values, and that's where his magic comes in. So let me hand off to Manuel at this point.
Thank you very much, Josh, for handing over. Thank you very much for demoing this. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so first of all, we have to make a few settings in ManyChat. I'm at ManyChat settings and custom fields, and down at the bot fields. For bot fields, I've set up like 4 different ones that we are using over here. First of all, we're using the date-time format for the confirmation message. I will put a link in the description under the video where you can find the tokens for this one. This is Integromat part, and this basically means it's the day, then the month name, and the day name, and so on at this time. Then for open hours, I've set up the Janis reservation earliest time and the latest time. So we have open from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. If it's outside of this times, another flow will be triggered. So this is covered as well. Furthermore, the interval between the slots shown in the Google Sheet is 30 minutes. And you can change it if you need like only 15 minutes or something like that. And if you need to customize it further. Okay, those are the 4 settings that we need before it going into Integromat. Now we'll go to the actual magic that happens behind the scenes. Let me go to ManyChat first. Okay, so after the Dialogflow part, when it recognizes that there is a reservation request and it got all the data that it needs, then it will land in the create a restaurant reservation flow, which is this one over here. At the very beginning, oh, I forgot to mention one custom field, which is the restaurant Integromat. It's Boolean, so you can turn it on or off if you're using Integromat for this one, or if you're not using it. Right. So if you're using it, if it's set to true, it will trigger another flow. If it's set to no, then we'll just go with the basic flow over here, and you will have to manually book that customer in. Okay, we go to the Integromat enhanced version. First of all, it will ask the user to confirm the date and the time and the guests that have been passed over by Dialogflow through Janis. And if you confirm it, it will trigger Integromat over here. You can directly integrate Integromat into ManyChat, which is really awesome and will synchronize all the webhooks that you set up over it in Integromat. So this is the reservation kit, and it triggers this one and sends all data over there. So it arrives over here at watch incoming data. This is the basic version. I'm not using this one in the flow, but I'm using the advanced version. I will show you the basic version first. Then there are filters set up if it's within the next 7 days, because we have just a rolling week in the Google Sheet, and it won't work for days that are further than 7 days. If it's more than 7 days ahead, it will trigger another flow which just says, okay, unfortunately, you're asking to book a time that's too far in the future. Please, and the admin gets a notification so they can follow up with them.
Right. That was like that. That was like that. I was going to say, sorry. That was like the first one where we did it, and it was outside of the sheet. So you can capture reservations in the future, but
yeah. And then the next check will be whether it's within the operations hours. So whether it's in between these times. If it is, then we'll proceed. If it's not, then it will send another flow. Okay, you're requesting time outside of the open hours and so on. Then here's a module where you can customize the actual format that's being output in here in the Google Sheet. So this is to make it easy for you if you want to make customizations. You don't have to go into each and every single module. You can just format it over here. All right, then it has, like, for each weekday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to Sunday, it has a specific routing. For Monday, I will just show the Monday part. It will search for free slots first. So it checks if the capacity is more or equal to the requested one. So it's more or equal to 4 in the example of the demo before. Then it will do some other checks if the time matches and so on. That's a little bit complicated, but you don't have to worry about this part too much. If slots are available, then it will make a reservation. So it will update the rows of that specific slot. Like in the demo, for example, these 2 slots, it will update those with the details that we have set up before in our reservation details in this module over here. And then it will set the custom field date time for the confirmation. And then it will send the confirmation flow, which looks like this. In the confirmation flow, it will notify the admin that there is a new confirmation, and it will show the formatted date and time, just like you've seen before in the demo. And it will show, more options what the user can do. All right, so this is the basic version. If there are no slots available, it will go to another flow where it says no slots available, and sends an admin notification as well. This is the basic version, and we've built an advanced version as well, which Josh showed in the demo as well. This is the advanced version. It's working basically the same, but instead of just going to no slots available and sending a flow over there, it will check if there's a slot available half an hour later or 1 interval later. If it is, then it will show that alternative time slot, like it was the last part of the demo. And if there's no later slot available, it will search for an earlier slot, like half an hour before the time chosen. And if there's still no slot available, then it will send the no slots flow. Yeah, so this is the advanced version. It works pretty well, as you could see in the demo. And then there's one very last little scenario that's just deleting all the data of of yesterday, basically. So because in the Google Sheet, we just have Monday to Sunday. For example, if today would be Friday, it would delete Thursday's data. So it would clear out all the data in the table, so you don't have to worry about this one. Yeah, this is this one. Over here, you just have to edit the spreadsheet ID to your spreadsheet, which you can find over here in the URL bar. Yeah, that's it so far from my side. I think that's the the Integromat part and the ManyChat part. Is there anything to add on this, Josh or Arpit?
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is amazing. You've done an amazing job at this. Manuel's like the master of all of these systems that we've just looked at, Dialogflow and Integromat. And you can see that it's, even though it is very sophisticated, I think it gives you a good sense of what you can do with Integromat, which is pretty much enable a whole booking system, including checking for exceptions and things like that. And it's all packaged up really nice and clean in that Google Sheet. So whoever's managing it, you know, they don't have to, everything just works, right? They don't have to think about it.
Yeah, I'm really blown away. This is such a great use case. It's so well made. It might look a little complicated, but I'm pretty sure anyone who's worked with ManyChat and Integromat before will know that it just looks complicated. It's actually not so complicated, but at the same time, it's really, really powerful. And I can already think of so many ways this can be adapted beyond restaurant reservations. You know, if you're running a local business, you're running a salon, or you're basically running an agency servicing local businesses, you can essentially sell this solution in so many different ways. So great job, guys. This is really, really impressive. I'm sure everyone watching this webinar has learned a bunch of new things, but I'm also sure that they have a bunch of questions. So I think we can just move on and start taking questions here on. Thank you.